All right, we are live. This is Stone Guy 223. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and got a few people with us. Got some more trickling in. From my left, we've got Ralph DeCat.
Hello. Thanks for the invite.
Yep. And next to him, we got the Yankee Marshal.
Hello.
And next to him, we got G-Bird. I don't know what your channel name is.
It's July 25th, but I don't really have a channel. You can just call me G or Lee.
Right on. And then we've got Gun Websites.
Howdy.
And the Tack Daddy.
Good evening.
The Tack Daddy. And Mr. Cork 71.
Hello, hello.
So, I guess right off the bat, let's talk about the Caléon Noir show. All you guys catch the latest episode? Fourth episode?
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Watch this.
Oh shit! Only one of us.
No.
I did not, but I've heard a lot about it.
I neither saw it nor have heard anything of it, so I
I,
shall be useful in this conversation.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Well, finally, I think that this episode was probably one of the best, if not the best so far. There was no real political, no racial innuendo. I mean, it was strictly all about the firearm. It was all about it really pulling at the heartstrings of people to incite just the passion for shooting.
So it only took 4 episodes to quit talking about race?
I mean, honestly, that's why it seems to, and I don't know if they, I know most people, or most productions, they would film several shows, but it sure as hell seems like they shifted, like did a 180 from the first couple episodes to this.
I haven't seen this show, but I have had experience in production work for smaller shows, and I can tell you this: if they made a direction shift or a style change this early on, that means they received massive feedback.
Yeah, and I think they had been. I mean, since he's pushing it out on so much social media, and really that's the target audience is social media. I would venture to say that those first couple episodes probably got a lot of.
It would have to be negative feedback for them to make changes, because you usually don't make changes this early on because it's detrimental to the show to make changes early on unless it's so poorly received. So what you all were saying last week must have been being echoed by a lot of people.
What
Or maybe they just watched our show and that was enough for them to make some changes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
that
didn't
could,
know what we are.
Some phone calls were made.
Yep.
what do you say, Tech?
are there any NRA members here that are getting emails or any other kind of solicitation or advertising or marketing about the show? I mean, I know he's pushing it out on social media, but
No, it's a good point. Just social media, not like emails or anything.
Yeah, I mean, they just launched the other show, and it just forgot the name of it.
you mean
What's the new one that?
Sharp?
Yeah, something like that.
Has anybody else received anything? Because I haven't received a single bit of like printed information or a flyer or an email, which is weird because usually every time LaPierre wipes his ass, they send me a little postcard about it and how I should give them $20 because of it. So it's weird they haven't promoted this with flyers.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Wait, he wiped what? What kind of check do we send, or do we do like regular?
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the whole point of this is this push that they're doing. This I can't think of the word. I'll just say push. The push that they're doing now. Promotion. Thank you. Yeah, this promotion is strictly social media. I mean, it's on the web. It's on his YouTube page. It's on the Twitter account. They're wanting people to post how they watch the show. Like pictures of them, like what's next to their computer while they're watching the show. So it's very, it's a very.
Are they sending out like I don't twat, so I don't understand the Twitter or the Twitter or whatever it's called. But do they send out like promotions via Twitter, or do they what?
They just send out like coming up. Like I know in his feed on his, I just get his YouTube because I don't tweet either. But
Hashtags and ats and all that shit with
I don't understand that hashtag shit. I get these emails all the time that say hashtag Yankee Marshall, and I'm like, what the fuck's that mean?
yeah, so I think that's where it is. Like on Collion's channel, he's doing the, like he did a little blurb, 20-second video that just said, what episode 4 coming up, check it out, and then he gives you all the different venues that it's going to air on, and the times. So I think, like I said, that's his way of promoting it and pushing it out to his followers, his subscribers. So I really think that this is oriented more for the, the technology-based people, computer. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think they would waste the money for mailing. You know what I mean? Like the people that are getting the postcards and the mailers, I don't think are the people that are going to be on the YouTube channel searching this kind of stuff out. That's just, I don't know. What do you think, Ralph? You put something in there about money and.
I just look at what the NRA is spending their money on in general. This noir stuff is just really a part of it. They have a lot of other marketing promotions going on right now that are really out to target different audiences, and I'm really trying to figure out what the NRA's goal here is and whether I can try to get behind it. Is their goal just strictly membership, or is their goal changing policy, benefiting gun owners? Because right now I'm seeing them real heavy into the social stuff, and maybe that's what it is nowadays. Maybe that's how things get done. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with, but I see a lot of money being, in my opinion, wasted when I think there's still a lot more work to do. Does that mean get more members gets there? I understand the catch-22.
Well, I do. I think that this is specifically targeted, like we've talked about before, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Yankee Marshall brought up a good point when he said that they are targeting a specific demographic that they haven't really appealed to before. Being this kind of upper echelon 1%er type,
a sliver of a sliver of a sliver.
Right, but I guess I get it, because at first I was kind of against that because, like I said before, that was
when you have all the masses you're already going to get. With the general everyday Joe, you've already got as many of those people as you're going to get. You have to go after the niches. You have to go after the slivers of a sliver, or else you're not increasing your numbers at all. It's better to increase your numbers by 10 than it is by 0.
And I think that their version of doing that is gross in some points.
Well, I'm not going to defend whether they're doing it right or not. I'm just saying that that's their goal.
And I understand that, and I get that, and I think you have to have total market coverage. I made the point before, this is like Glock's Glock 42. It's not popular with a lot of people, but for the niche that it is popular with, it's going to be, and
profitable.
Right, and it's them trying to get total market coverage in both areas. So I get the area, the way behind it. I like Glock's execution better, personally.
Using that same analogy that you just used, you still have to worry that even if the Glock is super popular, the Glock 42 is super popular with the niche that wants it, will that niche that wants it justify the cost of making it?
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's why I would have a tough time, like, if you asked me to invest in Glock and they were putting a bunch of money into the 42, would I want to get behind them? Probably not really. I'd say, why don't you make a $9 million? There's a better... So.
Yeah, and also you have to say, okay, let's say they dump, and these numbers are based on nothing. I'm pulling them out of my ass. Let's say the NRA dumps $10,000 into an episode of Colin Noir's show, and that reaches 30 people. Would they have been better off to dump that $10,000 into a ballot initiative in Maryland or a ballot initiative in California? Or,
Right. This is my point. and they're building all kinds of vehicles and all kind of promo stuff. It's just flash and eye candy. And I get maybe that's how you get more people on board, and that's how they can have more money to do more things and push more agendas. But personally, I'd like to see nationwide concealed carry before I see more of these types of things.
Well, and maybe in their mind, this is where they think they need to start. Maybe they think they need to get these niches of people, on board before they try to do a bigger agenda. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but to me, it seems like, we're kind of at the inception of this whole process with the new, the new marketing, the new the people, what they call them, the spokespeople. So
really the sad thing is the state organizations are the ones making the most differences in the
by far.
So you don't see them with all this crap.
No, I just think, would they be better off by, once again, let's say they dumped $10,000 into an episode of the Colin War Show. Would they have been better off just buying, ad space on 1,000 bus benches that explains the Second Amendment? Because maybe they would have. Maybe, that would have been better spent.
Or paying off a congressman to vote our way.
How much money did you say on one episode?
Like I said, the money number is irrelevant because it's.
Well, no, but would you say 50,000 or 10,000?
10,000.
No, it's like say if they spent $10,000.
So what if they just sent $1,000 out to different small YouTube channels once a week? That would do more than even the park benches, I think, because then you get actual people that are, got a good intent. They would give them the ability to do it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would someone at the top who's looking at the numbers that are generated things, but like Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty releases, the bigger than any movie blockbuster release ever, and saying we need a piece of that.
Well, and let's remember, things like Colin War and everything did not spawn the YouTube gun movement. The YouTube gun movement spawned Colin War. So
exactly.
Go back into the roots instead of into a figurehead.
Well, that's exactly my point. I think that's why they're doing this. I think that's why they've
expanding on G-Webs' thing.
We keep looking at the legislation aspect of it, but personally, I think that the NRA is suffering from like a public image problem right now, and if they're putting money into changing that image and getting more people to have a better outlook of it, and I think that's money well spent. Whether or not the show accomplishes that, that's a different question.
Well, they are definitely suffering from a public image problem because you have to be blind to not see that, because if you hang around with people on the gun forums, they're like, I don't agree with the NRA, but they're the best we got. If you hang around people more like I do, like more of the liberal crowd in Oregon, they're like, they're just a Republican organization. I'm not a Republican, so I can't join them. So yeah, they do definitely have severe, public image issues. Maybe they should be working on that more than they should be trying to build celebrities.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good point, but I still think they're doing it with the right intentions, but I think it's too early to tell whether that's going to be productive for them.
Oh yeah, but if I try to cure your hangnail by cutting off your foot, it doesn't matter whether I had grand intentions doing that. I still did something stupid. So it really does matter what they do.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, that's a hard analogy to debate because obviously that would seem ridiculous to cut. What's that old? I can't think of that old adage, something to spare the rod.
No, I think you're thinking of to cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, that thing.
That thing.
Yeah. Anyway. So let's get into the actual episode itself, because
And at that moment, since I did not watch the episode and I don't want to be talking about something I didn't see, for once I'm going to try to have some sort of dignity. I am going to go to Long John Silver's and eat fish until I'm sick.
That won't take long.
I shall see you Long John
Silver's. So the episode itself, I think, was in my opinion, more what the show should have been from day one.
I have a question.
What's up?
Am I the only one that found it odd that montage of just the two of them, not the three where they did the drill? I like that part. There was just two of them running around shooting. What the hell were they shooting at?
Oh, nothing. That was the point. I mean, he kind of prefaced that before that video clip played.
Don't you still need some sort of target before you pull the trigger?
Well, they didn't show a target, but I think there again, there's some of the show definitely comes across as a little cheesy or a little corny because just the production value is a little lacking. But the overall message, I think, was more well received in this episode versus any other before it. The message being, guns are fun. Guns, you can shoot just to shoot. You don't have to, like he mentioned, going out to shoot, not even really at anything, or not trying to get the best groups, or not trying to be the most accurate or the fastest. Just
does that mean you just randomly shoot at a berm while moving for real?
Yeah, I mean, some people. I mean, I don't know. I don't do that personally. I mean, I like to, because I kind of train how I would fight, so to speak. So I like to be shooting at something, but I think the overall message was just that as long as you're pulling the trigger, it's a good day.
Well, I do have to say I made it through 9 minutes of the episode, which is a vast improvement over the last 3. Triple my time.
Now, and I'll get into some semantics here, but if you notice, or something I noticed, is how he trigger slaps every fucking gun he shoots. He has no concept of shooting off reset. Like, whoever's watching this, go back and watch that episode and concentrate on his finger. He puts every pull of the trigger, he like slams his finger all the way to the far end of the trigger guard and then slaps it back. Like, that was driving me nuts. Honestly, I was like, damn, dude, shoot off the reset. Like, he almost took his finger out of the trigger guard after every pull of the trigger. It was driving me nuts.
I think that brings up an interesting point. I mean, the whole point of this is to kind of make guns attractive and cool, and they're trying to show all the cool parts of it to bring in the young folks and stuff. But do you think that sometimes they're going to get too far away from the core message of firearms ownership, and they're just going to keep trying to go more and more spectacular to try to get more people to come in?
No, I think we're trying to keep it cool.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's just a cool factor. But now that I don't think we talked about this. This was off air. But I think it was fantastic that he did not retake the part where he had a malfunction with the AR and didn't seat the magazine, and he was man enough to let it ride, and they didn't reshoot it, they didn't edit it, because that's something that could happen. That could happen to any of us. Even the most well-trained operators, if you will. There's a time where your magazine might not sit. If you have, how you can literally force 31 rounds into a 30-round magazine. For any of you that haven't tried, you can. And if you happen to do that, that magazine will not seat on a closed bolt. It will not. So, shit like that happens, and I thought that was awesome that he just ran with it, and
yeah, and justified it later.
Yeah.
He's like, I know it was one of these rifles malfunctioning, so I mean, I thought that was cool too.
So anyway, all in all, I think it was a decent show. I hope it continues in that direction, and even the fact that this episode they did. This was another part that I really enjoyed was the fact that he brought in the JM series shotgun from it's Jerry Miculek is the kind of the him and Mossberg got together and did a compilation, like put their heads together on a competition shotgun that Mossberg put out. And I'm seeing a lot of those in the 3-gun arena, at least in my area, because you got the Remington Versamax, which a lot of people are getting for 3-gun, but those things are expensive, and the Mossbergs are definitely a more budget-friendly firearm, and I thought that was cool to finally see a
budget-friendly.
Yeah, budget-friendly, everyday man's shotgun in the mix, which was something I had said previously, and all the other episodes have been lacking. All the other episodes have had these fucking high-dollar, top-of-the-line firearms. They're, again, only appealing to that 1%. And so by putting the Mossberg shotgun in there, I think that really, I think Mossberg in general, which is, I'm thinking while I'm talking here, so that's why but because, Mossberg has always been a very prevalent poster or background on his show, like as a sponsor. But I believe this is the first time they actually showed one of their firearms, if I'm not mistaken. Because Mossberg's is kind of, I don't know, for the most, when someone says Mossberg, to me, my initial thought is budget friendly. I mean, Mossberg doesn't really make real high-end firearms. I mean, they make good firearms, but not like crazy expensive firearms. So I thought that was cool, and hopefully they start rolling more of the budget friendly, into the mix. What do y'all think?
I've always known them as the decent shotgun. The gold standard for shotgun, really.
Really, the gold standard over a Remington?
The gold standard in terms of a home protection shotgun, the Mossberg 500, I think that's been the bar for a while, don't you?
I think you can interchange an 870 and a 500. They're both proven. They've been around for years. They're both proven.
Yeah, I guess it's just where you come from, because me, like, Remington 870 has always been the gold standard and the go-to. I mean, when you think home defense or any shotgun, really, I think Remington, but that's just me. And I guess that shows us how different we could be, given our different backgrounds, and that's why there's chocolate and vanilla. People like different things. So
yeah, Ford and Chevy.
Exactly. So anyway, I don't know, unless you guys have anything else about the Noir show. I think we've given that enough attention. We're going to switch topics here, unless anybody has anything else.
What did we think about the girl this time?
She's always hot. I mean, she's got hooker shoes, but other than that.
What did we think about her giddiness after she shot her gun?
I mean...
Go into the X-rated version.
I don't think she's been a... Well, I don't know. I can't say that. I don't want to say it. But supposedly she's been a gun owner for 4 years. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe she's actually owned a gun on paper for 4 years. Bless you. But there's no way in hell that she shot a gun for the last 4 years and could still be as giddy as she was on that episode.
That's my point.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think there may be a little fudging involved in her firearms experience. But that's cool either way. That's not a bad thing, because that was kind of refreshing, and I think that's going to, if there is a female audience out there, that's going to appeal to the female audience, tenfold when you have a young, attractive lady that's that excited and that giddy and that passionate about what she just did. I think that can only be a benefit for the gun community.
All right.
Did you watch it on the NRA Freestyle channel or on his channel?
I always catch it on his channel.
Because I suspect we're not watching the fully edited version, right? We're just seeing the raw behind the scenes version.
I would venture to say that on his channel, because they cuss and shit on his channel. So I can't imagine. I imagine it's more strictly edited on the actual NRA freestyle channel or whatever you just said versus his personal YouTube channel. But I don't know. I haven't seen the other one to compare.
Agreed.
So anyway, for any of you out there that haven't seen it, check it out. I think this episode 4 is definitely worth seeing if you were turned off by the previous couple. But anyway, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and the Tack Daddy has got something pretty big that just came out. Hopefully, you guys have seen that. If not, well, Tack, tell us about it. Maybe they'll go watch.
Well, excuse me. Just the next part of the plan, which is basically instead of dripping. It's funny that it all coincides with the Noir release and everything like this, but this has been on paper for a while, in development for a couple months. But basically, a segment show rather than an HD video here, a hero review there, some training here, some this there. Oh, I went to the big 3. I went to SHOT. Just got to the point where I wanted to put together a lifestyle show, as they say. And so, first episode hit today. You can go to TackDaddyLife.com, or you can go to the YouTube channel. That's right there on the homepage. And it's 9 minutes. There's a little bit more slow talking than I'd like to have, but I had to get the message out, and I needed to make it succinct. And so there's about a minute of narrative at the beginning, and I just needed to make some points and refocus myself after, again, quite a bit of time over the last year putting out 3, 5, 6 videos a week.
So I saw the episode. I don't know how many of you other guys had seen it, but I mean, honestly, for a single production, you don't have a production crew.
It's all me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought the production value was pretty good for an individual. The message was obviously spot on. So.
And again, if anyone is not gonna watch it, the message just goes back to there's a place for me in this gun community. Back to again the point earlier about that Yankee made about the gun community attracting more. What I wanted to refocus on was get back to what the roots of my channel were, which are I'm just a dude that's got a couple kids that's been carrying a gun for a while that believes in my Second Amendment rights and the ability to protect myself and my family. And it's okay to like guns. There's dudes down the street that do CrossFit. There's dudes down the street that do all kinds of different shit. Cars, this, that, the other. It's not my thing. But I like shooting. I like the mechanics of it. I like the engineering of it. I like the camaraderie of the community. So put this together to kind of just again give my channel a little bit of a little difference than what's out there, but also hope to again inspire some more people to create great content, because I think that's one of the things that can help us all. So,
yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's
and I'm open to all commentary and critique because I want to make it better. It is definitely not my best effort. I can tell you by episode 3 and 4, it definitely hits a groove. But it's what's great about it is it's what is in my mind's eye as quickly as I can get it onto the canvas, so to speak. I'd love to see this thing get some good numbers and get out there and get popular, because I think that with a little time and a little more investment, it'll never be noir, but it can be pretty good.
So you're looking for constructive.
You know.
Yeah, but you're not trying to be noir either.
No, it really is me doing what I'm doing. I don't have a Land Rover.
When you really are looking for constructive criticism.
Oh yeah, yeah. The solar charger does. There is another video for that, and I probably should have put a link to it. And I wanted to tease the solar charger because in another, I've got it slated to really go over it. And actually, one of the videos is using the Power Monkey without the solar thing, but just the Power Monkey itself to charge my phone for a whole week or however long it lasts. You know, use the phone until it gets down to almost nothing, plug it in, do it again, and kind of make that video.
Right.
But the solar charger is like the size of like a couple candy bars.
Yeah, I mean, hell, that was a great idea.
Right. What do you guys think of the training? You were talking some smack when I was not in the pre-chat, but what were you guys saying about the training part?
Oh no, I was actually brought up the fact of you punching that little well, what do they call it? What's the name for that guy? Huh? Bob.
We call him Bob, and it's a full body.
I have a feeling.
Yeah, that may be the name, but I know the guy has a name. But anyway, the little training dummy, the little punching dummy guy. But old Tack Daddy was getting down on him. I said I didn't realize Tack Daddy was that quick, man. I said he's like a little juggernaut over there.
I had to slow down the spinning back fist, otherwise you wouldn't have seen it.
Like a little fucking ninja, man, like a little kid ninja. But no, it was. I mean, the training was definitely practical. It's kind of neat to see little glimpses of, other people's classes that they put on. To kind of gives you an idea what they're all about. Because I've taken a couple different training classes over the years, and everybody's got a little bit different. I don't know, kind of approach or manual of arms, if you will, to how they teach. So,
sure.
And I think that's the cool thing about training in general is that if you take as much training as you can, and you're gonna pick up a little bit here and there from all these different people are gonna have a little bit different.
Well, and that's the one drill where, again, I'm sure some of the tactical homeboys out there will get a little silly about it and be like, how serious was that? That was kind of the break in the seriousness of the stuff. It was, all right, here's a fun way to get your heart rate up. The instructions are go over and pitter-patter it until we tell you go. And they weren't even paying attention. I just turned the camera on and walked over and started banging on it and set my rifle up and just kind of did the drill incognito, but then obviously everyone was paying attention at the end. But it was a fun way to get off a little steam, get your heart rate up, and it definitely took me I'd say 5 or 6 extra shots because you think you got it on, you think your scope's on, you think you're taking that breath of trying to at least control your breath, and there's definitely a couple times when it pops on you.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before. I think that's I do. I mean, personally, I'll do 30, 40 push-ups at the range, get my heart rate sped up, and then get behind especially a reticled optic.
Mm-hmm.
Something with crosshairs. You'd be amazed. I mean, to see how much those crosshairs bounce and jump and beat with your heart. If you've never, if you've always gone out to the range and sat down for 20 minutes before you pull the trigger, you have no idea what it's like to shoot with a fast heart.
That's for sure. Just to and then just to wrap up that, some support from some of the companies I work with, but I'm also doing a fundraiser campaign too. So if anyone wants to help out there, it truly is every gas dollar, everything's on me. The live show's not going anywhere. In fact, we're booked for this month. And Rich from Gun Torture Test, my buddy Joe from Viridian Greenlights, Dan the Firearm Guy will be on this week. Talking to a couple other people as well to follow up. But the summer's nothing but good guests there. And pretty much know what to expect there. But the other thing that I want to do with the live show is incorporate a little bit from those live shows, anything that's like a really good topic or anything like that, and then eventually have some contributors helping me out with segments and things like that. So anybody interested in talking about any of that stuff, feel free to reach out to me. But I'm going as high level as I possibly can within the quality and message and all that stuff. I really want to keep that on point. I'm sure you can understand that.
Oh yeah.
But entertainment value is always cool too.
Well, and I think the bigger thing is, honestly, and I know you're not going to take offense to this because you and I are like that, but I think realistically for you, because you're such a you're like a fucking normal everyday guy. You're like clean cut, like harmless looking dude that's, like you said, you don't have any military or law enforcement background. You are just an average guy, like house dad.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, to me, you couldn't be a better portrayal of the average American citizen. You know what I mean? And like that sounds.
Oh, the NRA and negotiate that contract point, huh?
Well, it sounds, shitty and contrived to be like to profile people, but I mean that's just I just there again I think that's something we're never going to get away from. I mean, as human beings, we base our first responses on visual representations of of whoever or whatever we're seeing, and like someone like, I don't know, just like the fucking guys from Duck Dynasty, or like,
sure,
just the burly, rough looking. I just don't think the message, you wouldn't get the same response if a scruffy biker looking dude was even saying the exact same shit you're saying. How people how people get that message, I think, would be totally different, strictly just based on who you are. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I get that, and that's kind of where I had to transform from. Once again, I was going down the road of trying to, again, I am myself. I think you guys know me well enough by now to know that. I'm not going to sit there and hide anything or not speak my mind or try to be someone I'm not when the camera comes on. It's just, I was going down a road of not trying to conform, but not trying to be so out in left field compared to, again, I'm going to throw some names out there. Mac, Hoss. I mean, these guys that have these great followings, they know their shit, they have a military background, they're respected, all that stuff. You know what I mean? You kind of, as a channel owner, you want to fit in with all of that. And that's, again, being as blunt and honest as I can. And so, again, I wasn't focusing on it, but I just found myself kind of going down that road of more the tactical side when it's really get back to, hold on a second. It's daddy first. It's these girls, it's what I do day to day, and then it's, all the other stuff that falls in behind it that has to do with guns.
Yeah, and I mean, just like you said, honestly, Hoss, Hoss is like a hero to me because he was a Marine, he served his country, he's a fucking good guy, but if he's standing in front of the camera saying the exact same thing you're saying to someone that doesn't know him, they're going to look at him and be, it's not going to be as well received coming from him and coming from you.
Or even a Dom Rasso. How awesome of a guy is that? With all that experience and all that stuff. But I hear exactly what you're saying. You get a group of moms or just anyone, average American person that you pull and have a conversation with. There's a difference between a guy that's muscular with tattoos that has stature like that, and again, Soccer Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Did anybody else get a chance to see it on the panel? I'll go to sleep. Stone
Oh,
guy.
I guess
Talking
we
about the
fucking
video.
put everybody to sleep.
I haven't seen it yet.
All right, well, everybody go check out Tack Daddy's new show. Do you have what's the name for it?
It's called Tech Day Life.
So basically, what it sounds like you're doing is instead of putting out a video or a video a day or whatever, 4 videos a week, you're going to make one video and have portions of the big video be like the segments on a talk show or something, or maybe not a talk show, but a segments on a show.
Correct. Yep. And then again, on occasion, back to the purpose of the website, you know, if there's a product or a discussion that makes sense to cut a separate video and put that out so I can embed it into the website on a page that's got a product, I would release that stuff too. It doesn't mean I'm only doing 2 videos a week, but for the most part, it's going to start there.
So basically, people have one thing to look for, like at a certain time each week.
That was
like programming.
I felt like I was just dripping shit all over the place. You know, I feel like I have something really cool to share, and you know, it kind of, you know you're gonna get a Yankee video every day in the morning. And
About the shit we talked about on live chat.
we're gonna block a Yankee video every morning.
All right. Well, cool. Well,
Appreciate it.
so everybody. Oh yeah, man. Shit. I mean, that's I thought it was a great episode. I think it's, if it gets out there, like I said, I think it's going to be more well received from someone like you than a lot of other people. So hopefully it does well for you. I support you, and everybody else, in our community does. So hopefully you'll start to be cliche, to open the hearts and minds of people abroad.
You guys all know me well enough. Shoot me a message, give me a call, let me know what you think. If there's something that's totally missing or totally sucks, or you have a great idea that you've been thinking about working on and you just haven't figured out how to get it out there and you think you might incorporate it. Again, I can't make it all for everybody, but there's definitely some, I definitely want to talk to people that are interested in doing stuff together.
I've been really tossed around the idea of doing thrash metal videos, so can we incorporate some really hardcore thrash metal into your show?
I'll put that in right after the bloopers at the end.
Right on. All right, so now we're gonna shift gears. I appreciate everybody hanging on through the intro chat, but now we're gonna get into it, because this is kind of what the chat was titled. Is America becoming soft? I don't know about you guys, but I'm pissed. I can't believe that we traded 5 fucking terrorists for 1 American. Now I'm happy for him and his family. That's all great, but when the fuck did we start negotiating with terrorists as a country?
Also, remember
Well, we also always bartered prisoners, haven't we?
Yes, we did, but after the war was over.
And we're still kind of in the middle of there's still active conflicts. There's a lot of speculation on whether this guy was I don't want to use the word deserter, because I don't know, and I'm not gonna disrespect a service member like that. I mean, he is a military service member, but there's a lot of hinky, information that doesn't add up as to why he left base, or post, he went outside the wire without a uniform. I mean, I don't know, it doesn't add up, and I don't know. To me, I just don't think we should have done it. I don't think we should have done it at all. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's the White House trying to, if this is a diversionary thing to draw attention away from all the other shit that's going wrong with our country and our government, but I don't know, man. What do y'all think?
Check the internal. I don't want to ask that question out loud without.
Yeah, well,
there was something about some guy that was speaking next to. Is that the guy? The guy that got released?
Yeah, big scruffy beard.
Yeah.
That's his father. Yeah, the guy that's been released is still in care and.
Got him out. Is that correct?
Yeah, you broke
Yeah.
up. What were you saying?
Was he talking pro-Muslim jargon after we got him released? Is that correct or not?
It wasn't him. That was his father.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not seen the guy. He is in a German hospital right now. U.S.-based German hospital. Still, they're still working on that. But everything that I've understood so far, and this is what perplexes me, is that he did leave base. He did have anti-war emails, etc. His father was going on about, now that we've got 5 prisoners released, we can start releasing the rest. It just doesn't add up to be.
And why 5? Why not 1 for 1? I mean, dude, I saw an interview of a former Navy SEAL. He spent, I want to say they said he was a 10-year veteran of the Navy SEAL. Had been on mission to capture some of these people that they're letting go. And based on their profile or their resume, these are people that we shouldn't be letting go, and damn sure not 5 of them. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't. Yeah, we've traded 1 for 1. I mean, I don't know. I just don't understand 5. I don't understand the whole thing, honestly. I think, and I definitely think it shows a sign of weakness on our part when, I don't know. I just think it sends a message to other countries, other organizations that, hey, look at that. The Americans gave them, 5 prisoners for one of their guys. Imagine if they get 10 of our guys. What is their, their logic or mindset going to be? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either, but how many lives did it take to capture those 5 that we released?
Yeah, good point. What were you about to say, Ralph?
Wasn't there certain rules about notifying Congress for 30 days prior to releasing certain people from Guantanamo that they completely bypassed?
Oh, this wasn't by the book at all.
That's some of what I have even more concern about, because even if you establish that he was a deserter, they've already said that they've already basically said they're not going to pursue anything against him. So the end result's that's not going to change. You know what I mean? But my question is, if we don't follow those certain, procedures that we have laid out, prior, then what good are any of them? What good's anyone's word, really, that they're going to be followed in the future? To me, it's just further cast doubt on those types of things, and really shows more of a Gestapo-type agency that runs roughshod and does what they want when they want, which bothers me even more than trading 5 people for 1. That bothers me a lot, you know what I mean? But the fact that we can ignore rules that we already have in place because of, what some one person deals as an exigent circumstance doesn't really pass my, smell test.
Doesn't 5 people for 1 mean that our person's worth more? 5 times more?
I guess.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but
Yes.
Who do they
That's a
go
glass half full.
That's
for sure.
what bothers me even more, because I don't, he was a U.S. service member, I will say that, but everything else surrounding him doesn't say that he wasn't there by his own volition. I haven't seen anything that says he wasn't. So.
Well, I don't know anything more than anybody, but let's say we send somebody in to be behind the scenes or whatever. I mean, how would we get them back? You guys have watched TV shows and stuff. I mean, isn't it possible? We're just getting the guy back.
I was thinking that, but
You're saying it's all a facade?
No, I'm just saying that we don't know what the hell's going on with that kind of stuff. I mean, we can act like armchair presidents of the United States, but we're not the ones seeing intelligence briefings. How do we know that guy wasn't, that's how he needed to be extricated, because he's got a lot of intel. I don't freaking know. Maybe he's just a bad guy and Obama's secretly Muslim. I'm just saying somebody said something about, or I think you even said, Stone, is this a diversion from something else? I mean, why are we looking here? Why I don't like looking where they're pointing to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, exactly, because
on the other hand right now.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, that's what I'm talking about. Because if it was something like what you said earlier about just getting our guy back, that he may have been a plant to gather intel, they would have done that shit on the down low. They wouldn't.
How do we know?
Well,
How the fuck do we know?
Well, this is a spectacle. I mean, this is a fucking, like, Congress is in an uproar, like this is serious shit. So either he's really just, when I say he, I think we all know who I'm talking about, is just that fucking brazen, or they're doing it to misdirect our attention.
Well, it did bump the VA fiasco out of the news.
I mean, he's just trading one shitstorm for another.
Well, really, they look like heroes at this point, compared to incompetent before.
Yeah. Well, look at the VA. You think that is, how many lives did that cost? Well, that whole fiasco there.
Well, that's the VA is a whole other issue, because that's.
No, that's what I'm getting at. That went away today in the news. When you're talking about that, yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, or whatever? Maybe it was Friday. The head guy stepped down, and this press secretary is leaving.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Fuck this! I'm not staying here for this backlash of a nightmare." He resigned.
The press secretary who has communist posters up in his kitchen?
Yep. Yeah, he's resigning the middle of June, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I hate to, because I know I've said this more than once, but I mean, the VA is a big issue with me, because I think that's I think our men and women deserve the most care and the most resources that could be afforded to them, for the services they provide for our country. It seems like we just fucking turn our back on them. And if we have $600 million to spend on a fucking website that doesn't work for a program that's bullshit in the first place, that money could have been allocated for VA services. That's a ton of money that could have been better served, better spent.
Definitely. Getting help for those the troops that have come back is definitely more important than.
Yeah, fucking website. I mean, that still baffles me. I mean, to this day, I just can't get over $600 million for a website, and then the damn thing had to be redone. I mean, I just can't believe, I don't know, I guess it's just my ignorance as to the big picture, but I just can't believe that there's that sort of misappropriation or that level of waste in our government that goes unchecked. And I mean, it never got traction with many people. You didn't hear a vigorous outcry of disgust that I think it deserved.
Yeah, what appalls me are the sheer number that are committing suicides. They're coming back. They played that over Memorial Day that the state alone, 9,000. It was either 900 or 9,000 have committed suicide. So it's coming back from serving in Iraq and Vietnam, or Iraq and Afghanistan. 9,000.
Really? I
We
thought
lost
I heard
4,000 over there. We lose more when they come home. This is just one state.
Now pull the number, and I'd like to. But that seems awful high. See if you can,
That's what I'm getting at. I think it was 900. So
see if you could fact check that. But that would. I
know
know it's. I know it's.
if Wisconsin's 900, that's times that by 25. With half the states. It's got to have numbers equal to that. Some higher, some lower.
Could just be Wisconsin, though. It's kind of a shitty place to live, huh? So, what do you think? Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
So you say we're getting weaker, so because of what Obama does, the whole country's weaker?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of a metaphor. Obviously, not the people themselves, but as a country, I think it sends a message of weakness. I think honestly that was kind of our whole mission statement, and in general is we don't negotiate with terrorists. I think it's a slap in the face for all the men and women that have served and died, and I just think it's an atrocity personally. I mean, it's
okay. I got the numbers here. 2010, 941.
Just in Wisconsin?
Just in Wisconsin. It's they're 8% vets. State, the vets are 8% of the population, but they have committed 20% of the suicides. That's a big discrepancy.
I agree with you, Stone. I think that's always been our stance until recently, it sounds like. And even if it wasn't privately, now it is publicly, So, John McCain, I think it does it so many disservices, so many lives lost already out there that it's a sad day to me.
How did we get McCain back if we didn't trade for POWs?
Did we trade for him?
I'm pretty sure they trade for POWs all the time. Like, if they need somebody and we need somebody, then, I mean, did you ever watch a World War II movie? It seems like it happens all the time.
I don't know. I think
it's also with a country and not a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I don't know who were they doing this negotiation with. I imagine the people that had claimed this guy or grabbed this guy or whatever.
And I think the difference is maybe that, because I know it's happened over the years or over the history of our battles or wars, but I think it's, after the conflict has been settled and we agree to return their prisoners, they agree to return our prisoner, kind of thing. I can't recall.
I agree with you. After the war, that does happen. That's part of the peace arrangements, but I don't think it's exclusively done then. But in any case, we're not really at war with anybody because we never declared war, right? We just went over there and started doing stuff. Or did we somehow declare war? I thought they didn't do this with an act of Congress.
I don't know how that's written because it was an act of the war on terror. I don't know if it's designated as an actual war. I think they keep calling them.
But you get the idea. There's not an emperor or a general or somebody that we're actually going head to head with. Then I don't know where we're gonna draw up these agreements that it ended now. So if there's also the POW MIA. Remember those flags? The guys behind. So maybe it's something like he thought, well, this is a way to leave no one behind. Is that the last POW or just the longest POW? Do we have other POWs?
It's supposed to be the last.
Okay, so I mean, is it really that bad if we're going to be packing up? He's making all these speeches about packing up and going home and just leaving a few advisors there. I mean, wouldn't we be yelling about how he left people behind? He left this one guy behind.
And like
Far be it from me to defend this guy.
people that
I'm not
people died
suggesting
for,
that.
to capture, to go back, 5 of the worst?
Well, I don't know. If we don't want to be the world police, then why are we the world jail? And I'm not saying I know anything about the story of those 5 guys, but honestly, I don't like the idea of feeding a bunch of people that are in our prisons that are here. Why would I want to feed a bunch of people that are in our prisons from other countries? So I understand the slap on the face or something you guys perceive, but I don't know. Like I say, I'm no expert on this stuff, but I'm pretty sure we trade people all the time. If we need somebody, they need somebody, we make a trade. If it turns out that it's 6 people for 2, then it's 6 people for 2. If it's a platoon so that we can get one of our people back with some info we need, I thought we did that kind of stuff. So maybe I'm just all watching movies too much, but like, I don't know. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. If he's trying to bring everybody home, then you got to bring the POW home if there's only one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not going to be a popular decision. I put in the internal here, but just for everybody out there listening. This year, it's averaging out to 22 vets commit suicide each day.
And that's across the U.S.
That's across the U.S.
I think the clear delineation to make here is in most of these other conflicts or wars, we're at war with another country, usually with the Geneva Convention, not terrorists, which is exactly what this is a line, in my opinion, that we've crossed as a nation. It says we do negotiate with terrorists from now on out, and here's our price. You know, we've set the bar now. So it's not good for us. It really isn't. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Now every American that goes over there knows that they're worth 1 to 5 for everyone that's in Guantanamo.
So now you think that seriously they're going to be like, all right, we scared them off. Now the first thing let's do is start kidnapping airplanes full of Americans?
Oh, hell yeah.
So we get our Guantanamo people back?
Why not? I mean, terrorists, you know.
Well, if we're going to negotiate with terrorists, then yes, then they're going to have to negotiate. But when do you draw the line?
Well, that's just it. They're giving the terrorist another card to play.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need it.
You know, before supposedly that wasn't never an option because that had always been the mission statement of the U.S. is that we do not negotiate with terrorists. So now the terrorists are going to say, "Oh, look at that! They've changed their mind."
You know what I'm really hoping is that they're doing this for a specific reason. That maybe he does have intelligence that they could use. Maybe they have. Maybe it was a CIA agent that did all this just to get in there to infiltrate the group. I don't know. I'm hoping that's the case, so that lives lost gathering these 5 POWs hasn't been a complete waste. So I really would hate to have it be a complete waste because this guy otherwise is a deserter. I was going to say it how I see it and how I saw the news. I would have put his value of his life at that of a terrorist. In my eyes, it's not worth trading 5 terrorists to get 1.
What if they start kidnapping people in the U.S.? You ever think about that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No.
I know it's popular in Mexico.
Why wouldn't that be a possibility? Be pretty.
I don't know. Why don't they run trucks full of gasoline into large events?
So it wouldn't be as effective. They
Why
already
don't they
have
have car bombs? Car bombs are massive terror. What are you talking about?
Car bombs are okay, but they're not look, a guarantee. They're also like a lot messier, a lot easier to track. I pick up a high value target, ship them off to somewhere. Now I'm 5 to 1. You know how easy, how quick I can clean out Guantanamo.
Maybe it's possible they've all seen Taken and they're scared.
Now, if it's the case and he does turn out to be a deserter is worth 5 to 1. What is somebody that's a high value worth? 100 to 1? 20 to 1? What's the number of that?
It's bullshit, is what it is.
What it is, and I know Obama wanted to get rid of Guantanamo, get all the prisoners out of there. This could be the way he's planning on doing it.
We have other prisoners of other conflicts other than war. It's a term that everyone needs to look up if they're not familiar with it. And that's really what this is. And a lot of other things fall into that category, things before the Iraq War and even things after that. So conflicts other than war is what this falls into. And there are a lot of other prisoners that are still out there that are not getting any type of attention. So it's not like we're really trying to just clean house and check off every dot, every, I and cross every T. So to me, this is awesome.
We would be if we got that guy from Tijuana. There's a Marine down there, right?
Yeah, what happened to that guy? I'm wondering. I know that there's a CIA agent that's still captured that is off the books.
CIA is different, right?
Well, yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I don't know.
Does he work, in my opinion, does he work for the U.S. government in a conflict other than war? Is he captured as part of that? Doesn't he have the same, or shouldn't he have the same? We're not even trying to get him, let alone give 5 to 1 for him. And this isn't the guy that deserted his platoon.
Talking about the guy in Mexico?
No, this is a CIA guy over in the Middle East.
I don't know. This is definitely going to be interesting. I think this is one of those moments in history that may be able to look back on in 20 years, as old men and say, shit, I remember that was the day, it changed the tide of this country.
I don't know. I hope it's not that much of a changing experience, but more of a symbolic, in my opinion. I think we've negotiated with terrorists for a while. I just don't think we've made it as public as this.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a tacit, understanding in general is that there's probably thousands of backroom deals that we're not privy to, and I think that's how it should be. I mean, and honestly, I know that may sound stupid, but if it goes on, I don't want to know about it, and I think honestly the general public shouldn't know about it because there's all sorts of stuff, even on local government, police, and in every aspect of every business and government agency and law enforcement agency, there's always going to be those backroom deals that go, unchecked, like things that have to happen, but you don't necessarily want the general public to know about it because they'd be scared to death if they knew what was going on.
You can't handle the truth.
I mean, honestly, it sounds, cliche to say that, but I mean, I think that's something, as Americans, we all understand that. We don't know half of what the fuck is going on in our country, and I think that's honestly how we like it, because if we really knew what was going on, we'd be scared to leave the house every day.
I don't know that it's that far, but it bothers me the way I had to make this deal public. In my opinion, this is just for some type of political grandstanding, to cover up some other type of issue or smokescreen, some other, to change whatever the news was or something. I don't really, I don't know. It's 5 years or whatever it took, to come right now, whenever there's so many other, important things going on, and I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was when I very first heard about it. Before I had time to process all the different variables associated with this, that was my initial instinct. Was what are they trying to steer us away from? You know, what's the diversion here? But anyway, I don't know. I'm about talked out as far as
Getting
this
soft,
goes.
Stone Guy.
Getting soft, man. I don't know what to say about that. Or that's all I have to say about that. Anybody else?
I'm tapped.
The agent I referred to earlier is Robert Levinson, for anyone who's listening and wants to look it up.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, I think that was a pretty productive little discussion chat. Got a couple topics covered there, so I appreciate everybody.
We can solve like worldwide events like this.
I know. I mean, the world would be a better place if everybody thought like us, right? We could solve so many issues in an hour and a half chat.
Maybe when Obama goes on his vacations, he listens to these podcasts, because then he would get plenty of opportunity to listen.
Right? Yeah, that's the truth. More vacations than, what is it, the last 4 presidents combined or some shit? There was some stat on that. I don't know if that was 3 or 4, but I mean, there was an official stat or official poll that he has been on taking more presidential vacations than like the last 3 or 4 combined. Anyway. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm gonna cut out here and probably go over to Gun Channels. You guys gonna open up a lobby over there? I'm sure. Yes.
See.
No. See. Yes. So.
See, senor.
So anybody that wants to continue to listen to us solve the world's problems, go over to gunchannels.com and there'll be an open lobby there. Join in. But that's it. I appreciate it, guys. See you next time.